Welcome to our listening practice, my friend. Once again, we're here to practice your listening skills, probably the most important skill worth practicing when you're learning English. Let me tell you how it's gonna work. I'm gonna be discussing today how to never quit learning English again. Maybe you have quit before learning the language, but I will let you know how to never quit learning English again. And the whole purpose of this exercise is literally for you to pay attention to the language that I use and not necessarily to the information that I will be talking about. So if you're literally interested in the information that I'm talking about, you can go to my YouTube channel called Coach Esteban 101 and you can look for a video called How to Never Quit Learning English Again in Portuguese, and then you will find the same information over there. All right? So let's get it on basically with this beautiful listening practice. If I were you, I would have a little piece of paper and a pen. Because here you will be paying attention to the expressions, vocabulary, time tenses, verbs, the way I link words, and how I pass the information in a way that you understand how the language sounds. All right? Not necessarily the information. Good. Let's get it on. How to never quit learning English again. My friend, I don't know if you knew, but every time I start a learning process with one of my coaches, I always ask the same question. The same question always. What is your story with English? What is your story with the language? And then, look at this. This is crazy because every time somebody listens to that question, they're like, And then they start telling me their stories. And in these stories, there's one common detail, one common information. They always say, I quit learning, or I stopped studying at that school, or I stopped having classes with my teacher, and so on. So basically in all of them, people have already said that they quit learning English. And since I was always listening to this type of information, I decided to conduct a survey with the people that I had, or people that I know who are learning English. And in this survey, I asked the following, like, have you ever done an English course? And 94.7% of the people actually have done a course, an English course. And astonishingly, that means that at least once they have quit, because they did a course. So look at this, 94.7% of the people have already quit learning the language at least once. But I also asked them, like, how do you consider your level being? And from those people, 47.4% said that they have little to none knowledge. Little to none knowledge. They don't know anything. Look at this. This is crazy because people say, I made a course and I quit the course, but half of them, they believe they don't know anything in English. 42.1% said that they are able to communicate, but not as much as they wanted. So they know how to say some words, maybe some sentences, but they don't say them in a way that they feel comfortable. And 10.5% are able to express themselves. All right, so only 10% out of that 94%, they're able to express themselves. So it's basically that those 10 people have like what you could call results in the language. And surprisingly, 0%, none of the people consider themselves fluent. How strange is that? Like, what is going on? Is it that they're not having results, or is it that they are quitting too many times and so on? So that's why today we'll talk about how to never quit learning English again. Before I start, I would like you to reflect, my friend, on this following thing. Think about this. What is your story with the language? How many courses have you done? How many different teachers have you had along your life? How many books does your library own? How many dusty books do you have in your library? They say, I ask people and they tell me, I have 3 or 4 different books here to learn English. So people do have a lot of knowledge that they're not using. and you are a part of that. So what's your story with the language? How many different ways have you tried learning English? And so on. And once you understand that, or once you reflect upon that, you will notice like maybe you will feel like, wow, I have quit many times. Or maybe you have never quit as much as you think that you would have quitting. But that's the whole interesting thing about it, my friend. So today you will understand that quitting is actually something that comes from inside and not necessarily from the outside. From the outside or external issues or factors would be things such as teacher, methodology, books, and so on. And internal factors or intrinsic factors are things that you will learn about today. And today, specifically, it will be about something called the plateau of latent potential. The plateau of latent potential. You don't need to learn this name. You don't need to, I am going through the plateau of latent potential. No, leave that to me, my friend. You just need to understand what's going on there and why are you not getting the results that you would like to get. All right? It means that basically you have an expectation of your learning process and your expectation is nowhere near the reality. So you're having like, you have a certain image of who you are or how fluent you're going to be, but that image is not happening. So that plateau is basically your expectations being unaligned. Let me show you in a small graph that I have over here, and I will come back to this graph later on. Look, you're gonna have the results and time versus time. Your expectation is this, and this is why people quit learning English. So I don't know, probably you must have this. Think of this, the time that you started learning English for the first time, you started thinking and you say like, wow, you created a mental picture of yourself being fluent and you say like, whoa, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna be learning the language, speaking the language, sounding like a native, sounding like the people who speak in the movies and so on. And once you started, then you didn't have it again. ¿Están allá en la canasta?
No.
¿O en la mochila mía?
Tampoco. Ya.
Dentro del carro.
Tampoco.
Sorry, we lost the car keys. Ha! This is crazy. Alright. Coming back to what I was telling you guys, you have a mental picture of yourself. So, that mental picture is basically you speaking worryless, like speaking without any type of difficulty and things. And once you start learning the process, once you start learning the language, that mental picture changes. It changes to a point that you say like, wow, this is not what was supposed to happen. Once you start having difficulties with the language, you're expressing yourself in the language, you say like, this is literally not what was supposed to happen. And that's when people start quitting, my friend. That's when people start quitting. And that's kind of sad. Okay, so when people regularly quit, it's because they are in the plateau of latent potential and they didn't know that. However, you, my friend, will know about that right now. You're getting to know about that as we speak. You're getting to understand what is going on. Why does this thing happen and what you can do to overcome it. So you will be able literally to align your expectation with the reality. Because if you're studying English right now and you don't have the results that you wanted to have, it means that basically your expectations are unaligned, and we will align them today. What's going on? What is the problem over here? I'm gonna use this to show you. Look at this. You have a graph, right? And in this graph, let me point here with a pen. And in this graph, you've got the time that you're learning the language, or the time that you're using to learn the language, and the results that you expect. And we normally expect this, the red line. We expect results to be linear. And the problem is that results, they are not linear. This would be like a perfect situation. Perfect situations don't exist, my friend. Your results are normally like the blue line over here. So the red stripes over here, they are called the plateau of latent potential, as I'm telling you. And since you are expecting the linear result, you enter into this void or this space or this empty space where you say like, man, I'm not achieving what I really want to do, and I'm gonna quit once again. But understand one thing, since you are expecting a linear result, learn that learning is not a perfect thing. It's not like one step, it's not like a staircase, you know? It could be like a staircase, but it's not like the stairs are not always the same. So sometimes you need to work harder, sometimes you need to work slower, sometimes you need to readjust the strategies. The stairs, they're not always the same size, they're not always the same height, and so on. So in this moment where you understand that your learning is not linear, you will reach something called, it's like a black hole. Let's talk about astronomy, you know. Black holes, you know, that they suck things, and things they never go back to reality or whatever in black holes. I'm not an astronomist, but if I'm saying something wrong, like just simply chill out. All right? So you're kind of in a black hole, and this black hole is called disappointment, my friend. It's called disappointment because you feel that you're doing a lot of things and that you're trying to study the language for several times, for 4, 5, 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 or 3 years, and you don't see the results that you were expecting. So there it creates the disappointment where people start saying like, this is not the thing for me. I'm not here for this. So you think that your efforts are all being in vain, and they're literally not being in vain. You expect results that you're not getting, but that's a different story. And if you repeat to yourself these bad things or this lack of results over and over, you will literally get to a point where you will quit once again. But look at this. It happens in every learning process, especially when we're talking about languages. Especially when we're talking about languages. You know why? Because languages, they're not linear. You can't learn languages in a linear way, all right? Let me pause over here and remind you that this listening practice, it's intended for you to practice your listening skills of how the language sounds and not necessarily in the information I'm trying to convey. So you're paying attention to the expressions, verbs, time tenses, linking ideas, linking verbs, linking sounds, whatever, and so on, okay? And with that, let me tell you how to never quit again. Understand the following and record this in your mind. Your work and effort is not being wasted. All the things that you have seen in the schools that you have studied at, they're not being wasted. You're not wasting knowledge. It's not like you say, I wasted 1 year of my life studying there. All that knowledge is stored. It is stored for the right moment. So it is being stored for that when the right moment arrives, you will put it into practice. There will be like one specific moment of your life, or probably this has already happened, and tell me if it has already happened to you, where you start speaking and then suddenly you say a word in English and you say like, whoa, where did this word come from? And you're like, what is this? Like, how did I remember that? Well, that, my friend, is because that word, it's coming from your black hole. Basically coming from your black hole. So basically all the effort, all these things, you have all this information is stored. So whenever it seemed like you were not going anywhere with the language, boom, you have a result. And that's crazy because after that, the result becomes exponential. It's like a famous social worker, Jacob Riis, would say, and I'm going to read over here right now. It says, when nothing seems to be right, I will see the stone, the guy who cuts stones, and he will be hitting the rock over and over and over for more than 100 times. And when in the 101st, on the 101st hit, the stone will break into two. But the effort came from the last 100 hits or was 100 attempts and not necessarily from the one that he did in the end. All right, it is not literally how it goes. I just translated and paraphrased it, but it's basically how it happens a little bit. All right, so the result of your efforts or your fluency, it's normally late. They come late. So it's like you are learning a lot of stuff in the beginning, and when you're learning, many of that knowledge is going to sleep in your mind, but it will awake or it will wake up in the moment when you most need it. So if you by chance hear like a course that says like you're gonna learn English in 12 weeks with us, that's baloney, that's crap. They're not gonna do that. They're just literally gonna teach you some specific sentences, and you will just memorize sentences. And what you want with the language is not necessarily memorizing sentences, because your learning process can take months, even years of effort, of a well done effort, logically. Because all this effort is being stored, and the moment to use it will come. After understanding this, and after understanding that your effort is being worth it, the second thing that will make you never quit learning English again is follow a system. Follow a system. Or a system is basically what? A mix of processes, right? So if you follow a mix of processes or a system, then you will literally go the fastest way to fluency. This can be called methodology, this can be called contact with the language, homework, study sessions, and so on. So basically it's a matter of having intentional practice and contact with the language daily that will take you to fluency. However, if you listen, for example, this is a listening exercise, but after this one, it doesn't mean that you're going to understand 100% of everything that people say. This is a little rock there that is adding once and one more and one more and one more and one more until the time comes that you need to use your knowledge. Boom! You will get surprised with your knowledge with the language. And this system can be called a study routine, but that study routine must be powerful, my friend. So you need to focus on the processes that you're following, not in the results, as I already spoke in a previous live. I already made a video about that. It's available on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it. Like, if you're trying to focus on this, you're not going to be fluent. It's the name of the video, I think. So that's what I speak, basically, the following thing. See that your final goal of being fluent, or if the objective, the overall objective that you want is being fluent, right? Your objective is the direction where you need to go to. It's like a compass. And the system is the vehicle that will take you there, or the progress that will, the system will bring your progress. So for example, if your objective is being fluent, to a point that you can have a phone call conversation with somebody from your company, or if your objective is literally traveling abroad and being able to buy things in the outlets, then the system that you use, or the methodology, or the study routine, or the study focus must be all directed to that, so that you don't stay too long in the plateau of latent potential, so that you understand that your effort will be going low, and suddenly when you start realizing, you will get exponential growth, exponential results. And your system must be this. Check this out. Your system, or the vehicle that you're going to use, it must be focused in working for one of the four skills, or the four skills that are essential for any language learning process, that are speaking, listening, reading, and writing. It's like improving 1% every day and not expecting to improve 100% in 12 weeks, you know? Like 1% a day. It's diluting your result. Instead of having like a burst of results, it's just slowly. So if every day you practice either your listening, your speaking, your reading, or writing with the correct strategies for the right amount of time, you will start noticing your results. So focus on the 1% every day instead of trying to get 100% on a Saturday afternoon, right? You know, so fluency is just right around the corner, and you will be able not to quit again because, my friend, you will be understanding that the plateau or the black hole that you felt that's going on there, it's not going to be there forever. All the information is being stored. So this 1% that you're improving, you see 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, it looks insignificant. But if you start doing 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, there it grows after much more. So if you accumulate it, it generates more results than trying to miraculously getting a 12-week transformation from any type of course, right? So you just need to be patient and consistent, my friend. Consistency and patience are the keys. If you are feeling that you want to quit learning English again, patience and consistency. Understand your true reality. Don't go back and restart. Don't quit, because whenever you feel the necessity again, you will be saying like, why did I quit again? Now I'm gonna have to start all over because I forgot a lot of stuff of the language, you know? Check it out, it's simple. Tiny changes bring great results. Tiny changes bring great results. And the moment that you understand this, you will reach the fluency because you're focusing on the process and not necessarily in the results of being fluent. And you will have understood that your learning process is not linear, but it is exponential once you pass or overcome the plateau of latent potential. So before finishing over this listening practice, I would like to ask you, and if you want, you could leave it here in a comment, or just reflect about it, just reflect and think about this. What do I need to do to improve 1% my English daily in one of the 4 skills? What do I need to improve 1% of my listening today? What do I need to improve 1% of my speaking tomorrow? What do I need to improve 1% of my reading 2 days from today? And what do I need to do to improve 1% on my writing 3 days from now? You understand? That is basically what you need to do. So this listening practice, you were basically trying to pay attention to the language that I use, the type of expressions and so on, time tenses, connectors, vocabulary and so on, so that you just have context and check out how this language sounds. Okay, my friend? However, if you were able to pay attention to the information and you would like to know a little bit more about it, you also have an available video in YouTube to check it out. All right, guys?